I just recently got diagnosed with ADHD and I wanted to share a little bit. I probably will share a lot more coming up, but I wanted to share a little bit with you because if you are a creative entrepreneur, there is a highly likely chance that you might also have ADHD or be neurodivergent. And I just wanted to share a bit about kind of my initial reactions because I think it might help you, especially my thoughts on why it's even more important for you to be able to trust your intuition if you are a bit neurodivergent. That being an entrepreneur is so important. If you feel called to that, if you are neurodivergent, if you have ADHD. And also I want to talk a bit about like how we might have stored, especially as women, stored kind of trauma of kind of keeping everything together in our body. So these are just my thoughts. It might be a little bit rambly, but I just wanted to share because I feel so strongly about this. So if you've ever felt like, oh, I'm so scattered, or I have so many ideas, I can't focus, I just want you to know like you're not alone and there's nothing wrong with you. So for me, I just recently got diagnosed and it feels like such a relief, honestly. For a lot of women, as I understand, is that people who have been raised female gender, we really are good at what they call masking. So really it doesn't show up for girls until maybe puberty or, junior high school. And for me, I was always I was very good in school. I skipped kindergarten. I was very good reader. I was very responsible. And so I always had this sense of like, I have to keep my shit together. I have to be on time. My dad was all about like being early. So one of the questions on the test for ADHD is like, are you late? Well, no, because I always had to keep my shit together and be early for everything, And so I have so much stress around being late. Like that is something that's not possible for me, right? And so all of this masking, all of this trying to keep our shit together, especially as women, I just want to say like that, all of that we hold in our body. First of all, we are so good at hiding. So for instance, when I started talking and asking people, people said, I would never think that you were ADHD or you had this tendency. If you're thinking that you might have ADHD, there's a strong possibility because even if you don't present as that, but that can create this kind of struggle because on the outside, people think you have your shit together. And on the inside, so for me, when I started to get into like junior high school, I remember just my brain feeling really scattered. One of the biggest things I remember is looking at people who had like planners and just being like, how do they do that? Like I had like 5 different notebooks for my thoughts. And I was like, I don't know how to keep these organized. It's always been a struggle for me. I finally found a sort of planner that's like very loose and can sort of work for me, but I cannot plan in a planner. It's almost impossible. I needed more freedom, but I always kept myself, did what I was told, follow the rules. And so this sense of, of not being able to have the freedom to live the way that your mind kind of wants to. And I think a lot of us feel that shame. So, and then when I started to kind of build my business, I think this is why eventually I just said, screw it. I am going to follow my intuition because honestly, my brain wasn't working for me. and I couldn't figure out how. I would watch other entrepreneurs go have this plan, and they would go A, B, C, D, like create this whole plan for themselves. And it never worked for me until I trusted my intuition. So when I kind of gave in, because I really, the more I listen and talk to ADHD people, there's this strong sense of intuition. And so I really believe that for neurodivergent people, it's even more important for you to tap into your intuition. And for me, that was the key. So when I started tapping into my intuition and really using that as a GPS for my business, for my life, and how, can I just relax into being who I am and not have to compare myself and to all these other people and how they're doing it. And I still do it, but I feel like getting this diagnosis makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I can do things differently. I've been struggling against myself. I get hyper-focused, and that's another thing with ADHD, but it's hard for me to bridge the gap of being hyper-focused and stepping back and putting all the pieces together. That's why I go to the park all the time. That's why, and I could get into the neuroscience of this, but maybe I'll do it in another episode, but that's why we have to take breaks, look at the bigger picture, have somebody helping us. I would always feel guilty about I feel like I need somebody to help me to organize my thoughts. Yes, we as neurodivergent people, our gift, it's not, in this world of productivity, we are made to feel like it's a deficit. And what it is really a gift, because we have the ideas. We get excited about things, and we make the connections of things that other people aren't going to make. So I just want to let you know, if you are multi-passionate, if you are neurodivergent, if you are always have a million ideas in your head, a million things you want to try, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because what is going to happen is you're going to make these unique connections and what I call intuitive innovation. So you are the one that's going to be innovating, and we need you to step into your power of that. And but we always are comparing ourselves to these people who can be linear, and we can't necessarily do that. So, how do we find a plan that works for us? That's why I work with people and create an intuitive business plan, because it's not linear. So this is another thing that I want you to embrace, your entrepreneurial spirit. So I was just listening to a podcast which was talking about how so many entrepreneurs have ADHD or neurodivergent. And it's because we have to follow what we're passionate about, right? This has to do with the lack of dopamine in our brain, and we're kind of always chasing it. But it's a gift, right? And so I would always beat myself up. I can't do the 9 to 5. What is wrong with me? I would get so bored sitting in a cubicle. I would just get so bored. And I have to be working on something I'm passionate about, and I have to make it work. So if that's you and you just cannot, you're struggling in your job, you're struggling to make it work in a 9 to 5 or something that you're not passionate about, there's a reason for that. And your intuition will guide you to what it is that you need to be doing for a living. And I'm here to help you. I'm passionate about helping you to do that in a way that works for your brain. So the things I want you to walk away with: number one, there's nothing wrong with you. this is a gift, right? There's an idea out there that in evolution, we are kind of the leftover hunters. We are always kind of looking and observing the novel, the new, the what we can bring back. And that's what people need right now, you know, that intuitive innovation. So there's nothing wrong with you. And I want you to embrace that. Get to know your intuition. Please, that is like the number one key. It's your superpower as a neurodivergent person, and it's going to lead you to doing things the way that you're meant to do them, right? That you can do that and create a successful career. And also, you know, becoming an entrepreneur. Like if you're called to become a creative entrepreneur and you just can't do anything else, yes, do it. do it. You will eventually find your way through your intuition. And also, don't be afraid to reach out for help. I know it's really hard to find people who get it, who understand, you know, neurodivergence, who understand, like, for me, I was always afraid to get help from somebody who's going to force me to do something I don't want to do. So I think it's really hard to find a coach or somebody who has a product that can help you in the way that you need to be helped, which is really just listening to yourself. And helping you to find focus. So I'm here. I have coaching packages. I have, you know, a few different options based on what you need. So find me on Instagram, but I'm here to help you. And I just wanted to share this little insights because I feel so passionate about it in my discovery. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this so that you'll get all of the new videos that come out.